We all know that Donald Trump has a weird infatuation with Vladimir Putin, but now it is looking like that he was willing to put Vladimir Putin above the American people. But if you end up getting anything out of this video, please do remember to hit the subscribe button. I'm trying to make it to 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year, and I would very much appreciate your support. Now, there is some bombshell new reporting from Bob Woodward with his new book coming out, I think, next week, called War, that goes to show that Donald Trump was going above and beyond to curry favor with Vladimir Putin. So let's go ahead and take a look at this reporting really fast, and then we'll discuss.
Another revelation tonight is a bit bizarre, and that is that Trump sent Putin individual COVID tests at the height of COVID. Now, according to legendary journalist Bob Woodward's new book, those tests were sent to Putin during the height of the pandemic in 2020, right? When gosh, nobody could get a hold of tests. Now, during a call at the time, Putin tells Trump, quote, "Please don't tell anybody you sent these to me." And Trump replies, and Woodward's the one putting quotes around this, "I don't care, fine." Putin says, no, I don't want you to tell anybody because people will get mad at you, not me. They don't care about me.
Think about how insane this is. During the height of the pandemic, or in the early stages of the pandemic, when Americans were dying by the hundreds and they weren't able to get testing, Donald Trump went above and beyond to send COVID testing to Vladimir Putin, one of our greatest adversaries, and Donald Trump was thinking about him and not the American people. Is this your America First candidate? Even if you are a Trumper, even if you are a MAGA cultist, this has to rub you the wrong way. Because remember, nobody could get testing. The federal government sure as hell wasn't stepping up and making sure that the states were getting what they need. In fact, Donald Trump made the states go out there and bid against each other to get COVID testing. Let's go ahead and get a little reminder of that.
Does the buck stop with you?
Yeah, normally, but I think when you hear this has never been done before in this country. First of all, governors are supposed to be doing a lot of this work, and they are doing a lot of this work. The federal government's not supposed to be out there buying vast amounts of items and then shipping. We're not a shipping clerk. Whatever the states can get, they should be getting. I say we're sort of a backup for the states. The states should have been building their stockpile. We have almost 10,000 in our stockpile, and we've been building it, and we've been supplying it. But the states should be building. We're a backup. We're not an ordering clerk. We're a backup. He was talking about the ventilators, but he should have ordered the ventilators.
What happens, though, when states are bidding against each other on those markets?
Well, they have that, and they have to work that out. The states have to stock up. There are some states that are different. There are some states that don't have much of a problem. Hospitals can do their own testing also. States can do their own testing. States are supposed to be doing testing. Hospitals are supposed to be doing testing. We're the federal government. We're not supposed to stand on street corners doing testing.
So just to make things clear, Donald Trump did not step up during the COVID pandemic. He did not make sure that FEMA acted like a procurement center for these COVID tests. Instead, he told the states to fend for themselves. And what did that do? That caused states to bid against each other to try to get very much needed PPE. And sometimes the federal government would come up from behind and they would procure those tests for themselves anyway. Donald Trump was an incompetent leader. And it was because of his poor leadership that hundreds of thousands of Americans died. I just don't even know what to say. And now we find out that he is sending these tests to Putin? Somebody who wishes to wipe America off the map? How is that America first? Donald Trump says he's looking out for the American people, but he is too busy currying favor with the leader of Russia. That's why the Harris campaign put together this ad to remind the American people of just how fond Donald Trump is of Putin.
I talked to Putin A lot. I got along with him well. And I know Putin so well. I'd like to congratulate Vladimir Putin for having made yet another great deal. Did you see the deal we made?
Talk to him like that?
Oh, no, I had a very good relationship. That's a good thing, not a bad thing. And I'm trying to tell people, no, it's a good thing. When you see Putin and you see all of these people, they're at the top of their game. And I also have a very good relationship, as you know, with President Putin. And I think if we win, I think we're going to get it resolved very quickly. I really think we're going to get it resolved.
I hope we have more good relations.
We're going to have, oh, I see. Yeah, but you know, it takes two to tango, you know.
Donald Trump has always had a very strange thing for Vladimir Putin. I think he fancies himself as some sort of strongman, some sort of authoritarian leader that commands his people, when that couldn't be further from the truth. Donald Trump is an incompetent imbecile. He couldn't lead us through the COVID pandemic. He didn't get anything done while he was president. And he is definitely not standing up to some of our greatest adversaries like he claims that he can do. Instead, he wants to curry favor with these people. And we contrast that to somebody like Kamala Harris, who was definitely able to show that she understood these things, that she could stand up, and she would put Americans first. Because as a president of the United States, that is your job. Let's listen to what Kamala Harris had to say when she was on the Howard Stern show. Sorry about the quality here. I'm not exactly sure what happened, but it is what it is.
In the height of the pandemic, and remember, and your listeners will remember, people were dying by the hundreds.
Yeah.
Everybody was scrambling to get these kits, the tests, the COVID test kits.
You couldn't get them.
Couldn't get them.
Right.
Couldn't get them anywhere.
Right.
And this guy who is president of the United States is sending them to Russia, to a murderous dictator for his personal use? You're getting played. And some would say, look, I grew up in the neighborhood. Some would say you're getting punked.
Yeah.
If you stand in favor of somebody who's an adversary over your friends on principles that we all agree on.
She is exactly right. Donald Trump is being played for the punk that he is. Vladimir Putin knows that all he has to do is stroke Trump's ego a little bit, and Donald Trump will bend to his will. Because Trump is a weak, pathetic man-child. He's a malignant narcissist who only cares about himself. He doesn't care about the American people. He doesn't care about you, me, your grandma, your kids. Donald Trump cares about Donald Trump. And for whatever reason, he felt it okay to put Putin above the American people. And that should be disqualifying for anybody. And we need to take a look at this ad, another ad from the Kamala Harris campaign that really poses the right question. Who is Trump going to be looking out for if he becomes president again? Because it sure as hell isn't going to be you.
Trump will always choose Putin over the American people. And now we have evidence. A new report that he secretly sent Putin COVID tests while withholding them from sick and dying Americans.
So I said to my people, slow the testing down, please.
Who will Trump look out for in his second term?
I think I could have a very good relationship with President Putin.
I'm not disavowing that he called me a genius.
It's not you.
Who will Trump look out for in his second term? It's not you. Donald Trump only looks out for himself. He thought it was okay to do Vladimir Putin a favor before help out the American people. And people should not forget of just how incompetent he was during the COVID pandemic. And that estimates have come out that have said that his lack of leadership wasn't the direct cause of, but played a role in hundreds of thousands of more Americans dying that needed to die. because Trump is such an incompetent idiot. This feels like traitorous behavior to me, but I know the MAGA lunatics aren't going to see it this way. For whatever reason, many of them feel like they would prefer a Vladimir Putin to rule this country than they would a democratically elected Kamala Harris. And is it any wonder why they feel that way? It's because the cult leader has spent the past decade showing his admiration for dictators like Putin while trashing the people in our democratic nations and our allies and our friends. This should be absolutely disqualifying for any candidate. Could you imagine if you found out that President Biden was sending personal COVID tests to Xi Jinping over in China during the height of the COVID pandemic when Americans were unable to get the supplies that they needed? Could you imagine how the right-wing lunatics would freak out? I'll leave it there. If you guys got anything out of this video, please do remember to smash that like button and subscribe. Maybe share it with a friend or two. I'd very much appreciate that. Trying to make it to 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year, and I would very much like your support. If you guys want to see how this cognitive dissonance is ever so present in the MAGA universe, go ahead and watch that video on the screen now. Otherwise, I'll see you guys on the next one.